Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Lobby 4. Welcome back to Lobby 4 Preseason Race 2 for the League of Europe season. If you were tuning into the stream in qualifying, you would have known that unfortunately the lobby glitched at the end of the formation lap. So because that happened, both Dylan and I our games blue screened and the stream stopped. So that's what's happened. But we're back for the race, so fingers crossed there are no problems this time around. But just before we go into the race, Dylan, we'll just do a quick recap on qualifying in case anyone missed it or anyone has forgotten what happened about 10 minutes ago. But any surprise performances really in qualifying for you?
Well, to be honest, I think Rams did quite a good qualifying. Of course, I know him personally, and I don't think he's the best qualifier in the world, but he qualified P7, which is actually pretty good, and didn't expect it to be that competitive. In this lobby, but yeah, hats off to him.
Yeah, hats off to Ram. Good qualifying, and in the end, just a reminder as well of the top three in qualifying in the end. I'll be amazed if my memory is that good, because I have the memory of a goldfish, but it was J-Luke that took pole in the end ahead of XL Don, who was in second, I believe. Was that correct? That is correct.
Yes, that's
right. Yeah, that is correct, and I believe it was Kieran in third. So that's our top three, if I'm not mistaken.
It was actually Heath in third and Kieran in fourth. But
well, there we go.
And then Damon in fifth, Rashayon in sixth, Ranf in seventh, JD Nolan in eighth, Robertson in ninth, Saul in 10th, and Iverbryn Mike in 11th, Fusilium in 12th, Adri in P13, Jav in P14. And I actually don't have a screenshot for the rest of the grid, but yeah.
Well, there we go. Well, you cheated. You cheated and read it off. But yeah, so that was the qualifying order in the end. Thank you, Dylan, for saving me and not making me look like a complete fool. I got the first two right, almost, so that counts. We got who was on pole. But yeah, before, obviously, we were just chatting before, obviously, this got going, as we're about to get going by the looks of things. Just before we get going, thank you to Heated for restarting the lobby and doing the custom grid. I know it's a pain, but thank you for getting that all sorted for us. But obviously, some of the strategies that we saw outside the top 10, there was a few on the mediums, a few on the hards as well, and then people inside the top 10 had varying levels of wear on their soft tyres. This is kind of almost a blessing for them, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. They have fresh tyres at the start of the race, and yeah, they can go at least to lap 7 now, I think. And before the actual race, that might have been an issue, and now tyre is going to be a little bit better for them.
Yeah, that's definitely a benefit for them, which is going to put even more of a strain on the people starting outside of the top 10. They don't have as big of an advantage as they did going into this lobby, but fingers crossed, we're all plain sailing and we're all ready to go. I think everyone's just choosing their tyre selection at the moment going into the race. And don't forget,
those who are tuning in the race, don't forget to put on your setup.
Yes, yeah, both Dylan and I have fallen foul of that before, we can tell you that. So fingers crossed everyone is able to put their setup on before the race starts. Make sure that they've all got the right strategy and they're all starting on the right tyres as well. We want everyone to be on the same strategy as they were before. Obviously, we had the lobby glitch. But you predicted your top three before the race started. I believe you predicted the top three on the podium to stay the same. So your prediction was for J-Luke to win. I think probably my prediction is very similar. I think J-Luke will probably win this race just based on pure pace. And I think Heated will finish second probably. I think someone though to look out for in this race, I think is going to be Calvin. I think Calvin looks like he's got brilliant pace, so I think it'll be great to see what he can do in this one, and maybe he can work his way forward, maybe a top 5 finish in this race.
Yeah, Calvin of course starting in P15, I think it was. He didn't set a competitive lap time, or I think a lap time at all during quali. So yeah, he really needs to make up for it this race.
Absolutely, yeah. Here we go then. So, are we doing another formation lap or are we getting ready for the race? The lights are going out in front of the drivers, so it looks like we're just going straight into the race, everyone. And we are. There's no formation lap, so the race has started. J-Luke's had an amazing start, absolutely flown off the line. The AlphaTauri of Don has fallen down the field a little bit, as has Damon in the Red Bull. He's not got the best of starts either, but going into turn 1, it is J-Luke that leads then, ahead of Heated now in second, Kieran in third, Rajayan down to fourth. In fourth, Don down to fifth, Damon in sixth, Ram in 7th place in the Haas at the moment. But yeah, J-Luke, a great start. Side by side, Heated and Kieran at the end of the first sector. They've got to be careful though. Regine's there ready to pounce. Damon's now made his way past Don as well, who's falling like a brick at the moment. From the front row down to P6. Robertson and Solar side by side in the background. Kieran's got a brilliant exit coming out of the long right-hander before the back straight, and he's taken second. Someone's way off the road in the background. That's one of the Ferraris that's gone off the road. Ramvis made his way up to P6. Damon looks like he's made a mistake in the Haas. Look at them in the background. That's one of the Alfa Romeos. That's a Jav, I believe, in the background with Mads that's having a crazy battle in the background. Heated, meanwhile, still side by side with Kieran. They're still going at it. Look at the lead that J-Luke has got already. He's absolutely flown away. It's 2.2 seconds, and then it's a whole gaggle of cars behind J-Luke. Heated stays in second for the time being, ahead of Kieran, ahead of Vagine, ahead of Don, Damon, Ram, JD Nolan. Then there's a gap back to Calvin, who is up to 9th already. What an incredible start from the Renault man. He's up into 9th place already. But, that's Regine down the inside. Yeah, Regine down the inside of Kieran, trying to take P3 away. Can he make the move stick? It looks like he's going to get away with it. He is. He's going to get up the inside. Regine up to 3rd. Both AlphaTauris have done the complete opposite. One's fallen like a stone and one's clomb through the field on this first lap. But at the end of the first lap, it's J-Luke that leads by 2.9 seconds. What a dream start for J-Luke.
Yeah, and it's really close behind Heated now. Everyone's looking for position as Kieran looks up the inside in turn 1 on Rajayon. Has to cut the corner though, but it goes around the outside.
Wow, brilliant move in the end. Oh, Damon down the inside, yeah. Is he going to get the move done before the turn 3? I think he is. Yeah, he's going to make the move done. Damon is lagging a little bit on my end. Hopefully that's not the same for all the people in the race. But yeah, Damon up into P4. Good recovery after a relatively poor start from the Red Bull man. But yeah, Kieran in 3rd place.
P9.
Oh, what a shame from Calvin on the medium tyres. Had a brilliant start. Oh, Dutch Face has spun in sympathy as well in the racing point. He's gone off the road as well. What a shame from Calvin, who had an incredible start and was up to 9th place already. We're looking up through the field. Ivory Might's now up into 10th place. There's still a battle at the moment going on for P2. Kieran's made his way past Heated now. Oh! Heated and Damon have both spun. I don't know if Damon had contact from behind, but Damon spun to the inside of the track. And Heated has spun to the outside of the track. 2 front runners dropping it on the exit of the chicane.
Unbelievable. They were close together, but I don't know what happened to Damon. But I saw just that.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
He had spun at the exit of the corner, unfortunately, when trying to get an exit to fight back on, to Kieran. But J-Luke 4 seconds ahead after 2 laps. What a start.
Yeah, dream start. He can cruise from this point onwards. He's got no pressure from behind him. We're only 2 laps into this race. I think Damon almost spun in sympathy and then tried to save the car. And it looks like as he was trying to save the car, he got run into the back of by one of the AlphaTauris. Not quite sure which one it was. It might have been Don. I think that might have been the case for him, which is a shame for Damon. He's spun down the field. He's down in 13th at the moment. Heated down into 11th. Meanwhile, just looking at other people on the field, Soul in 7th now. He's the lead medium runner, and he's on the back of this queue at the moment. He's stuck in behind Ramboos in 6th, so he's keeping up with some of the soft runners at the moment. Ivory Mike's ahead of Adri at the moment, 8th and 9th. Mads is now the lead medium runner on the hards in 10th place from last on the grid. Dream start for Mads. Look out for him at the end of the race when he puts a fresh set of mediums or maybe softs on. Damon and Heated are still battling, even though they're now down in 11th and then 12th. They're still going at it. Damon's worked his way back up to 11th. Heated's run wide. I wonder if Heated's now really struggling with tyre temperature.
Robertson's trying to go down inside, but runs out of room.
And here comes Fusalim now to capitalise on that. He's going to go down the inside, but obviously it looks like they're not using overtake. Neither of them are. Fusalim trying to get it on pure straight line speed. He gets down the inside. Does he get the move done? No, Robert absolutely sends it in the chicane and keeps it on the road somehow and keeps the place. Brilliant defending from Robert, and he keeps P13.
As Raj looking up the inside of McKieran in the 3rd sector, didn't go for it though, just had a little peek into the corner.
It looks like Ramf as well. We've missed it. Ramf has made his way past JD Nolan. So Ramf is now up into 5th, but JD Nolan trying to come back at him in the Williams car. See if he can get down the inside for the penultimate corner. That's a risky move there. A very unorthodox place on the track to overtake. They're side by side. They're really costing each other time at the moment. There's a bit of contact, but it looks like JD Nolan has managed to take the place back. But Ramv is back on his overtake. But look at how much overtake Ramv has used already. He's down at 10%. Meanwhile, JD is around 70. So Ramv is absolutely blowing through his overtake at the moment. And JD Nolan holds on to P5.
As Andrew gets past Ivory Mike up into P8 now.
Yeah, Adri now up into P8. He's the second medium runner. So it's Soul ahead of Adri and Ivor for the medium runners at the moment. They're the lead people on the alternate strategy. Soul still on the back of this battle between Nolan and Ramv. And somehow, Nolan is just keeping up with Don, but Don has dropped completely off the back of the top three. Rajayan now only a tenth behind Kieran as well. Is he going to go for a move at the inside of that chicane? He does go down the inside. Oh, there's a little bit of contact as Raj tries to squeeze McLaren as much as possible, but he does get the overtake done and he's up into P2, but 5.5 seconds behind J. Luke.
And I think Kieran might have a glitched overtake button. He has it on
constantly.
All the time.
Always turned it off, actually, I think.
It's still on.
Oh, I'm not quite sure. On my end, it says that it's turned off, so I'm not quite sure whether that is the case. Ramv has worked his way back past Nolan again, but Ramv, look at how little ERS he's got. Only 10% at the moment. Really struggling. The two behind him both have over 70, so they're going to be... Oh, JD from a mile back. Absolutely sends it. That's a brilliant move. Wow. I was about to say, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, he really did. I got completely caught out by that one. I didn't see that one coming. And now Soul's trying to attack Ramv. Trying to go around the outside, but it's not really an overtaking spot. But Ramv gets a little squirrely on the exit of the corner. Is Soul going to try and work his way past? He's on the overtake button. He looks to the inside of turn 1. He's going to have a bit more momentum. Does he have the right to the inside of the corner? Ramv is going to fight it. Is he? No. He gives him the room. Soul's up into P6, and he's on the back of Nolan, who runs wide. Is Soul going to get a move down the inside? This is going to be a great move if he can pull it off. Let's have a look if he gets the move stuck. He's not close enough, so he's going to have to wait for the back straight.
As Rajayan and Kieran are battling throughout the first sector, they were side by side throughout the entirety of the first sector, and now Kieran with DRS is breezing past Rajayan.
Yeah, who does absolutely breeze past. Yeah, he flies by, but both of these guys battling with each other, only on 30% ERS. Don at the moment in P4, after starting in the front of the field, he's completely used up his ERS. He's down at similar levels to Ramv, and he can't keep up with the guys in front. Don's qualifying pace isn't really translating.
And JD Nolan spun.
Oh!
JD Nolan spun at the exit of the corner.
Another person falls foul of that corner. It was a problem on the last game. A lot of people would struggle with traction out of that corner, and it's happening again on this in this race as well. Meanwhile, Damon on the soft tyres, he's doing a great job at coming back through the field. He's on the back of Ivory and Mike, but I think Damon's actually got Damon got an illegal overtake on Nolan and has had to let the Williams man back through. Meanwhile, looking further,
the top two are still battling so close together.
Yeah, they're still so close together. Nothing separating these two, but they're really holding each other up in terms of moving forward at this moment. We're only on lap 6 of this race. This race has felt like it's been going on for only like 2 laps, or we're on 6 laps already. It's absolutely flying by. We're nearly at the end of the soft stint, so if we might see people in at the end of this lap trying to undercut people if they're stuck in a bit of traffic. So don't be shocked if either Raj or Kieran comes in at the end of this lap. Don is being absolutely left by these guys. Soul is now in P5 and is within a second at the moment of Don for P4. He's doing a brilliant job on these medium tyres.
Yeah, I don't actually know if he started inside the top 10 or not. I think, if my memory is right, I think he started P10. I'm not sure though.
So he might actually be on the wrong strategy by the looks of things, which is a real shame if that is the case. It's a real shame if he is on the wrong strategy, but even so, even if he is, this is great race pace from him at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
He's dragging Ramv with him.
Are still so close together.
Yeah, they're still going at it. Raj only is 4 tenths back, so I don't imagine we're going to see a move down into Plum right-handed. They have to be on the overtake button to try and get closer to him, and it looks like they're trying to both resave some of the ERS they used in the early laps of the race. Another person to look out for, though, is Adri on the medium tyres. He's only 1.5 seconds behind Ramv at the moment, and he is catching ever so slightly, so don't count him out of a good result either. He looks very confident at the moment in that Ferrari car. Looking further in behind, Damon's now past Nolan, so Damon's back up into P9. Further in behind as well, Mads had a good start, but I don't know if Mads has made a mistake somewhere, but he's dropped back down to P12 and is now under pressure from the other hard runner, which is Fusilim, who has caught back up to Mads. So I wonder if Mads has maybe made a mistake somewhere.
And Frosty Calvin gets ahead of Heated, who had a little bit of a poor exit out of the off-camera left-hander in the 3rd sector.
And we do have our first pit stop. We have our first pit stop. It's Don. So Don's come in early. So Don clearly not comfortable on the soft tyres. He was struggling for pace. He couldn't keep with the 2 cars in front of him of Mayor Kieran and his teammate Rajayan. He couldn't keep up with them. So maybe he just was struggling with those soft tyres. So he's come in and put the hard tyres on. He should be able to take those to the end of the race, but they will be fairly heavily worn by the end. Let's see what his pace is and whether he's able to get any closer to the 2 in front of him. Just looking further up the field, Raj is now only, again, 2 tenths behind, and he's on his overtake, trying to get back past Kieran. These two are completely inseparable at the moment. He's going to go down the inside, is he? He is. Yeah, breezes past down the straight, and he's past Kieran. He's back up into second place. But again, we don't talk about him much, but every time we do with shots, look at J. Luke's lead. He's 8 seconds out in front.
He has brilliant pace on these soft tyres.
He really does. And obviously, one thing we've seen so far is that people running around at the moment close to each other, Raj and Kieran, we don't know which one of these two is actually faster at this point because the DRS and the slipstream is so powerful here. It is incredibly difficult to break the DRS to anyone behind. So the fact that J. Luke has broken the DRS so early, meanwhile J. Luke has actually dived into the pit lane, the fact that he's been able to break the DRS so early and by such a big margin means that it's going to be so difficult for people to re-catch him.
And the entirety of the top 3 are in the pits now.
Yeah, they are all in, yeah. So top 3 are all into the pit lane. Souls are going to take over the lead of the race then on the medium tyres. Ramv on the soft tyres decides to stay out, and now he's got Adri swarming all over the back of him. The medium tyres now definitely the faster of the 2 compounds, but he wants to stay out for another lap. He doesn't want to use the hard tyres for any more than he has to, and maybe doesn't want to struggle. Heaty meanwhile's retired from the session, unfortunately. Looks like he's had enough of his race after his early spin. That's such a shame for Heated.
J-Luke's locks behind Robertson in P6.
Yeah, is he going to get straight back past him? J-Luke's on the mediums. Wow.
Wow.
So J-Luke's gone for a medium tyres. There's no way he's going to get those tyres to the end of the race. So J-Luke, for some bizarre reason, has decided to go for a completely different strategy. Himself on a 2. Wow, okay.
That is really bizarre.
It's a very bizarre call from J. Luke. Maybe he thinks he has the pace to do it. We'll have to see what his pace is on the mediums. His pace on the softs was very convincing, so maybe that is the case. Meanwhile, in behind him, Fusilium up behind Robertson. Is he going to make a move into the chicane? He's not quite close enough. He's going to stick behind the racing point. Meanwhile, in behind, Calvin's working his way back through after his early spin. He's past Mads, but is already a pit stop behind our race leader. Our net race leader, that is, that's J. Luke. But yeah, J. Luke, it was a big gap. It was an 8-second gap, but he's not. A pit stop around here is easily 25 seconds lost. He's going to have to put in some amazing lap times to build a gap back up to Rajayan, who's still only 2/10 ahead of Kieran.
Yeah, and Kieran also went on the medium tyres.
Wow, he did. Yeah, so another person has put the medium tyres on. So they're both going for a 2-stop. That's a bizarre call. Meanwhile, Ramv is the next soft runner to dive into the pit lane at the end of lap 8. Let's see what tyres he puts on. So Sol takes over the lead of the race from Adri in second and Ivor in third. They're the medium runners that started on these tyres. So they're obviously going for the 1-stop onto the hard tyres. J. Luke, look, is only 3 seconds behind Ivor. So he's very close to these guys. Let's see what tyres Ramv decides to put on. Ramv has put the hard tyres on, so he's going for a 1-stop. He doesn't want to do the 2-stop in this race. But yeah, a real mix of strategies so far.
To be honest, what I think happened was maybe Jeff switched strategy mid-race and put J. Luke and Kieran onto the medium tyres, because that has happened to me before in a practice race.
That is definitely the case, and you can see Kieran desperately trying to get on with it. He had a look up the inside of Rajayan there into turn 5, but it actually, how slow Rajayan was going through the corner caught him out, and that's actually put Kieran on the back foot and 9/10 off the AlphaTauri man now. So he's on the medium tyres, and he obviously desperately wants to get past to try and build a gap to Rajayan, but it's just not happening at the moment.
Yeah, he's now past Jav to the chicane. Jav has spun. No way. No, Jav. Jav has spun at the exit of the middle of the chicane, unfortunately. And McDutchface as well.
McDutchface, yeah. Where did you say Jav has spun, did you?
Yes, Jav.
Oh, Jav is down in P16 for me, so I don't know if Jav is completely lagged out on my end, so...
Jav is in P14 for me.
Amazing. So we've got a bit of a glitch there in that I can't see Jav on my end. Jav is driving around in AI, so ignore Jav's position at the moment. He's not currently in 16th place, but yeah.
Fusilium just went around the outside.
Ooh, and Robert spun in sympathy. Oh, but Robertson's done 9 laps on these soft tyres, so he's taken them right to the end of their life, and now he comes into the pit lane and he's going to drop right to the back of the field. Meanwhile, looking further around the track, we've got J. Luke only 2/10 of a second now behind Ivor. He's basically pushing him through this middle sector. Adri's nearly within DRS range of Soul as well now. It's about he is within DRS range by the looks of things. It's about 7/10 of a second between the two of them. See how quickly J. Luke can pass Ivor. It looks like it's going to be a breeze really for the Williams man. He pulls up behind Ivor Brim Mike. Does he go for the move down the inside? He does. He's weaving around. Yeah, he's weaving around behind Ivor, but he breezes down the inside and takes away P3 on the track. Yeah, it takes P3. So he's back up into the podium places, but this still at the moment isn't enough. The next person though on the track that's on a one stop is Rajayan, and Rajayan's 5 cars back in this queue.
Yeah, and of course with Mads and Fusillim on the hard tires, I imagine that they will run these tires very long into the race.
Yeah, I can imagine so. We'll probably see Sol and Adri and Ivar maybe go about 3 laps further into this race before they put a set of hard tyres on. Adri is within DRS range, but not close enough to challenge Sol at the moment. Looking further in behind, Don's put these hard tyres and again is really struggling for pace. He's 7 seconds off the back of Kieran. It was about 3.5, maybe 4 before the pit stops, but he's being caught rapidly at the moment by Damon, who's dragging Ramv with him.
Yeah, and Damon, of course, after zero spin has recovered quite well, to be fair, on these hard tyres now.
He has,
and
definitely.
He's up into net P5.
I think it is. Yeah, it is a net P5 at the moment. Obviously, some of the leaders haven't come into the pits yet. Mads has been passed now by Calvin, who after his early spin is doing a great job at recovering at the moment. Unfortunately, he's not quite where he was. I think he would have been close to Adri, if not... Actually, no, he would have been ahead of Adri at this point in the race, so Calvin might have been in the lead had he not spun early on in the race. But yeah, Damon currently running in a net P5, and obviously Kieran and Jay Luke in front of him are both running on a 2-stop strategy, so he could recover to a podium if he's got the pace on the hard tyres. And Ramv only, well, within his DRS range, he's dragging Ramv with him, and they're catching Don very quickly, so Don really struggling at the moment. As I get one ball with Don.
Looks like he's going to get past Rajayan.
Goes down the inside, but look, he's got no ERS left. Absolutely none. Goes down the inside. Raj is trying to hold it around the outside, and he does. But Kieran goes all the way around the outside of the second part of the chicane and pulls it off. Great move from Kieran, but at this moment in the race, it looks like it might be too little too late.
Yeah, I don't think he can get these medium tires to the end. However, there are no punctures, so he might just, because damage is off, he might just go to the end on these tires.
He might, yeah, but the problem for him at the moment is he's basically on the same strategy as the likes of Sol and Adri and Ivar Brimike at the front, and he's like 6 seconds behind them, so he's going to have the pace. Meanwhile, Sol and Ivar into the pit lane from their medium tyres at the end of lap 11. They're going to put the hard tyres on by the looks of things. Sol, yeah, puts the hard tyres on, so he's going to the end of the race. Ivar in as well. Oh, Ivar holds Sol up, actually, so Sol had maybe a few seconds in the pit box where he had to wait for Ivar. That's a shame for him. That's going to cost him quite a bit of time. Let's see where he comes out relative to the traffic. He's going to be behind Ramv, but I think ahead of Nolan, I think. Outside the top 12, but on a fresh set of hard tyres to see what pace he has. Actually, without that delay in the pit lane, he probably could have been ahead of the likes of Rams, maybe, but only 2.5 seconds back, and he looks like he's got a fresh set of tyres, so it looks like he's going to still be battling these guys for maybe a mid-top 10 finish at the moment.
Meanwhile, yeah, so definitely with those fresh hard tyres can make up positions. There's a bit of a queue, though, from P7 up and all the way up until P4. And
yeah,
Kieran now reaches past Calvin on straight.
He does. Calvin trying to fight back though, all the way around the outside. Can he keep it down the inside? Kieran's going to get the better run. Oh my word! Calvin had a massive snap of oversteer on the exit. It nearly took Kieran with him.
Has a better exit.
Yeah, down the inside. Rajayan's there as well to maybe attack as well. Meanwhile, further in behind, Damon has passed Don and has already broken DRS to the AlphaTauri man, so he's up now into a net P4. Here goes, Rajayan down the inside of Mads. It was Mads trying to go for an overtake on Calvin, turned into Rajayan passing Mads, and now having a go at Calvin himself. Does he have a look down the inside? He's not going to go for the move. Is he going to get the better exit? Meanwhile, Adri dives into the pit lane. Let's see if Adri can now actually overcut Sol, maybe, after Sol's delay in the pit lane. That might be the case. See what he can do when he comes out of the pit lane. But yeah, Rajayan's stuck behind Calvin at the moment. Stuck behind Calvin. Kieran now starting to break away a bit as Calvin makes a mistake on the exit of the final corner and lets Rajayan through, so Rajayan's now up into P4.
Yeah, that's brilliant couple of laps from Rajayan to take those 2 cars.
Fusillim's still up in second place at the moment on the hards as well, just keep an eye out for him. Sorry to interrupt, I was just having a thought. I don't want to jinx it at this point, but J-Luke has a 13-second lead, I think, over Kieran and Rajayan at the moment. J-Luke could still actually pull this off. If he has good pace on these medium tyres, which he clearly does, he's, 13, maybe 14 seconds clear of Rajayan, who's the lead one-stopper at the moment. J-Luke could still pull this off. It would be amazing if he did.
That is bizarre, because this 2-stop is obviously the inferior strategy around this track. But if he managed to pull it off and still win the race, I mean, hats off to him.
yeah, if he's able to pull that off, that is a completely dominant performance from Jay Luke, and it's just showing off at this point if he is able to pull that one off. But yeah, great stuff from Jay Luke so far. Fuselier running around on his own in second. Currently looking further in behind. Adri did jump Sol, but there's only a tenth between them. Sol's trying to come back at the Ferrari man. Is he going to have a look down the inside maybe? He's not on his overtake button. Sol's not used a lot of overtake look. He's running around 80%. Very conservative. Adri looking very slow in a straight line. Here comes Sol down the inside. Is he going to make the move stick? He's down the inside. Adri's... Oh, there's a little bit of contact there. That's just Sol understeering into the side of him by the looks things. But Sol has made his way back past the Ferrari man. And Sol's up into P10 again, back into the top 10. But it looked like Adri really has a slow car in a straight line.
Yeah, that was bizarre. Sol was a couple of tenths behind and didn't imagine...
And didn't use overtake.
Yeah, he didn't use overtake and still passed him.
Yeah.
On the inside.
Adri's trying to come back.
Ran has overtaken XL Don.
He has, yeah. Ranva's passed on now. Calvin's into the pit lane, so he's going to come out further down the field. Just on board with Adri. Adri's got his DRS open, and Sol's pulling away in his straight line. So yeah, Adri really struggling for straight line speed at the moment. I don't know if that's a problem in his end.
David's making great progress.
Oh wow, yeah, he is. Look at that.
Zion is now only 5 seconds away from actually net P2. Net P2, it looks like.
Yeah, but he's about, I'd say, just under a second of that faster than Rajan at the moment, which is crazy to think after Damon's early spin. Damon's actually throwing himself in the ring to still win this race, because Rajan is the lead one stopper at the moment, and Damon, like you say, is only, what, 5.5 seconds back, so Damon's catching very quickly. If he's able to pass Rajan before Jay Luke comes into the pits and eventually catches them again, Damon could still win this race, and Ramv is doing a very good job at the moment on his debut in only 3 seconds behind Damon in 7th place and pulling away from Don at the moment, who is now starting to get caught by Sol.
And Kieran actually hasn't really pulled away from Rajan.
Oh no,
7
wow.
laps. It's really bizarre to see, especially with Kieran having those fresher set of tires, or softer set of tires, I mean. And yeah, he hasn't really pulled away from Rajan. Rajan, of course, having good pace on these hard tires.
Yeah, just having a look at the gap from the leader down the grid. So currently the gap between Jay Luke and Rajan is 14.8 seconds. In the last 2 laps or so, that's not really changed. Mads, meanwhile, comes into the pits from the hard tyres. He's going to put a set of mediums on, have a look for his pace at the end. His pace might be very good, but it does look like the people on the medium tyres have very good initial pace, and then struggle to gain anything from that point onwards, because Rajan is now matching Jay Luke's lap times, and Rajan has massively caught Kieran again. And Damon's catching these guys hands over fist at the moment, so it doesn't look like the medium tyres are that good of a race tyre.
Yeah, these hards seem like a way better race tyre after a couple of laps, and yeah, down quite massively.
Yeah, really struggling. They are really struggling for pace at the moment. Yeah, and Raj now right within his DRS, and Kieran. He's catching Fuselier ever so slightly, but you would expect Fuselier is currently on 15 lap old hard tyres, and Kieran's on what, maybe 8 or 9 lap medium tyres. So you would expect Kieran to catch Fuselier at a fast rate of knots, but he's still not within DRS range of the Ferrari man, who's doing a very solid job at the moment.
Yeah, very good job on these hard tyres. And looking down to the field, it seems like Adri is actually catching Sol a little bit for the battle of P8, and Sol is catching XL Don.
Oh wow!
Was it P7?
1.1 seconds. Though. It was. I think he's nearly taken a second out of him in the last lap or so, and it's dragging Adri with him. And Adri's actually dragging Ivor along. Ivor's catching the pair of these guys now, so these three are going to come basically like a steam train at the back of this queue and catch Don. And I think they're not far off catching Ramv at this point as well. Ramv isn't too far in front, and Ramv's still struggling with ERS usage. He's running down below 10%. So they're not far off the back of these guys, and now Sol's up into 7th, Adri 8th, and Ivor 9th after Fuselier makes his one and only pit stop onto the medium tyres. See where he comes out in terms of this queue. So he's going to come out just ahead of Frosty Calvin, I think. Yeah, just ahead of Calvin. He's in 11th place as Fuselier, and he's 5 seconds off the back of Nolan, who's 4 seconds off the back of Ivor. That's going to be a push for Fuselier to catch that queue of cars, but if they all start fighting behind Don, then don't count Fuselier out of a good result here. Sol's now only 6 tenths behind Don. Let's see if he can catch him in a straight line. He's on his overtake now. Is he going to catch Don in a straight line? Don's got no ERS himself either, and is already low on fuel by the looks of things. And look at how fast Sol is in a straight line.
And I think we're going to see a move P2 with Zion very close to the back of
Ooh.
Kieran. Goes down the inside. Kieran trying to hold out around the outside.
Ooh, he touches the flat on the outside of the corner.
Oh,
Oh,
Kieran keeps ahead. Wow.
well,
Really
great
close
racing.
performance.
These two have been inseparable the entire race. Oh, Sol looks like he's made a mistake. Sol spun the car. Spun the car in the right fast right hander at the start of the third sector. I don't know if he made contact maybe with Don or not. That's a very odd place to spin. So I'm not sure what happened there, but he spun out of an overtake from Don, and now it's Adri up behind them. Meanwhile, Kieran's dived into the pit lane from these medium tyres and is already moved. He's going for another set of medium tyres. So he's already in the pits. Let's see where he comes out. But he's going to come out down the field behind Fusilium at this point.
Yeah, I think, yeah. He was behind Fusilium when Fusilium pitted onto the finish. Yeah, I think, he's going to fall behind him. Might even fall behind Saul after his spin. And Calvin looking at the inside of Saul.
Calvin down the inside of Saul.
And now Kieran.
That's close. Oh, Kieran just beats them out. That's incredibly lucky for the McLaren man as Calvin actually misses turn 2. Sol's trying to come back at him. I don't know if you've seen any penalties on your side yet in this race either. I've seen people running wide but not picking up warnings. So that's another thing to look out for when this race finishes. We can't see penalties on our end. So a number of people in this race might have penalties that we haven't seen yet. Meanwhile, looking at the front of the field, J-Luke's made a mistake.
Yeah, he definitely has.
Only
over 7 seconds, I think.
Yeah, he's dropped 7 seconds to Rajayon. It's wow. So J-Luke's made a mistake somewhere, and he's now 7 seconds ahead of Rajayon, who is actually catching him now. And Damon's only 4 seconds behind Rajayon. So J-Luke's actually thrown away a possible chance at a victory here.
And Adrian moved up into P5 after overtaking Xaldon on straight.
He has, yeah. And J-Luke's into the pit lane. I won't go on board with J-Luke because we've got the gearing glitch on his end. He's revving out massively on my end, so we won't go on board with that. So it's Rajayon now that retakes the lead of this race. He takes over as the race leader at the front of the field in the Alpha Tauri. It'll be Damon in second. Somehow Damon's worked his way back up into second in this race. Let's see if he can catch Rajayon before the end. And it's going to be Ramv up into third ahead of Adri fourth. What a great drive this has been from Adri.
Yeah, of course, starting outside the top 10.
But Adri's, look at Adri's straight line speed. Yeah. Sorry to cut in. Adri only didn't even hit 190 down the pit straight, and Don caught him by well over half a second just down the pit straight. I don't know if Adri's
running very, very high wings, I think.
He's even running incredibly high wings, so he's got some sort of setup problem on his end, because he has absolutely no straight line speed at this point, and it's costing him a chance of battling for third. He's just out of DRS range, so it's 1 second when they cross the DRS point here. How quickly does Don catch Adri in a straight line? I see. He's not actually catching him now down this straight. Well, he is a bit now, coming towards the end of the straight, which you would expect. But Adri down the pit straight has absolutely no straight line speed at all.
Really bizarre to see, because he actually had decent straight line speed on the main straight, but only losing at 1 or 2 tenths to Axel Don, who was using overtake on the straight. But yeah, really weird.
It is very weird. Meanwhile, J-Luke, after his pit stop, has come out in 8th place. He's in 8th, just behind Ivor, who's caught Don now. So Ivor's the next person to have a go at Don, who's kind of fallen like a stone, really, in this race. It's a shame to see from a front row start. He's kind of plummeted through the field. But he's down into 6th now, and he's got Ivor on the back of him 7th. J-Luke has caught these guys so quickly already. I think he's taken a second. Look at it, he's going down the inside. The confidence from J-Luke to go for that move. He's trying to go around the outside of the final corner now. That's incredible. Hats off to J-Luke. What a move. That is incredible.
Wasn't he like 4 or 5 tenths behind him? Wow.
That was insane. Let's see if he can pull something off similar on Don. He's genuinely trying to make up for his mistake and trying to come back through the field. He could still be on for a race win. If he drops 7 seconds with a mistake, putting that 7 seconds back onto his race time, he would be ahead of Ramv and only, a couple seconds behind. It would have been within a shot of winning this race. Look at the grip he's got.
Yeah, and he's pushing Don.
He is really pushing him into the back straight. This is going to be an easy overtake for the Williams man. Yeah, he's down the inside. Using overtake. Don's trying to use overtake to defend, but hasn't got any left. J-Luke breezes past and is back up into P5. And he's only 1.3 seconds behind Adri. Let's see how quickly he catches Adri. I want to stay on board with J-Luke for a little bit and see if he catches him. Look at that, 4 tenths in the chicane alone.
And Damon, I think, has made a mistake.
Oh, he has.
And now Ram's in second.
Ramv is up to second. Damon's made a mistake at the chicane by the looks of things, and he's dropped off the back of these guys. I don't know if Damon's got a problem similar to my end. Oh, Damon's actually just moved Jav's AI car out of the way for me. But yeah, Damon drops from battling Vajion for the race lead down into third place behind Ram. Vajion's driven a great race so far, but at the moment everyone is handing it to him. He's had J-Luke make a mistake. Damon's made 2 mistakes in this race. Sol's had a spin at this race, and a number of people have heated spun early on in this race, and Kieran's gone on 2 stops. So Vajion's been gifted this one on a plate at the moment.
Yeah, and J-Luke now breezes past every
fastest lap of the race for him as well.
He might actually make it work, because he's catching Rajayon by over a second a lap.
Yeah, Damon trying to repass Ramv. By the looks of things, he actually went a little bit deep into the corner there. He's trying to get past Ramv, but I think it's going to be a struggle. Actually, he had a brilliant exit out of the hairpin there, so it looks like... Oh, now as I say that, commentator's cursing him, had a snap of oversteer on the exit. He's now going to be under pressure from J-Luke. Is J-Luke going to get the move done on Damon down into the chicane, maybe? Let's see what he can do. He takes off the overtake button, and Damon's going to defend the place for the time being. But it's only a matter of time, really, before J-Luke comes flying past. Look at him almost trying to push Damon through the corner. On the exit, is he going to use the overtake? He is. Does Damon use his? Damon's using his as well, but J-Luke has a little bit more. How much is he going to use? Is he going to use quite a lot? It's going to go to the outside, is he? He's going to try the switch back then into long right-hander. How late is he on the brakes? So, that was really a huge dive from J-Luke, and the angle of the corner, it didn't quite work. He slams into the side of Damon. Gets away with it with only a half spin, but he's dropped back behind Adri again.
Very unfortunate, yeah. The nature of the corner, dives don't really work there.
There's not really a braking zone for that corner. That is a shame for J-Luke, but again, I'm not trying to... Actually, Damon's down the inside of Ram for the last corner, and Damon's worked his way up into second in all that, so he's back up into second place, but now Rajayon has a 10-second lead.
Yeah, I don't see J-Luke after that failed overtake, making up the time to cause Rajayon.
Yeah, only 6 laps left in this race. It'll be a massive ask for J-Luke now to catch Rajayon after that contact with Damon, but we'll have to wait and see what he can do. He's coming back at Adri already, so he's within DRS range of Adri, who still can't catch Ramf at this point in the race. Still struggling a little bit for pace. Ivor's still on the back of Don, but hasn't been able to work his way past. Looking further down the field, Kieran's worked his way back up into 9th, is on the back of Nolan for 8th place. Haven't really spoken about Nolan in this race. He's been calmly going about his business, doing what he needs to do, and he's actually driven a good race so far.
Yeah, definitely. And I think penalties might spice up the actual finishing order of this race. And J-Luke, look up to the inside of Adri, a little bit of contact.
Ooh. It looks like Adri may be having none of it, but J-Luke can't get the move done, and he's dropped further back again. It was all working out so well for him, for J-Luke, for the passes were going well, and then 2 bad passes in a row, and he's dropped a load of time. That's a real shame to see that that's happened, but Ivory Might's still stuck behind Don at the moment. He's having a look down the inside. Is he going to try the switch back into the off-camber left-hander? No, he's going to keep the outside line, maybe get for a better exit. If he can get one, or he runs a bit wide there, that will be a warning, but obviously we don't see it on our end. It's actually quite exciting not seeing the penalties. We have no idea how many penalties people have. Rajayon could end up having about 20 seconds worth of penalties and lose the race that way, but we'll find out when the race finishes. But yeah, having a look and seeing J-Luke's already re-caught Adri. So J-Luke's down the inside of Adri into turn 1. It looks like he's got the move stuck before the corner. He has, so he's back up into P4. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, Rajayon's made a mistake somewhere. Damon's 8.6 seconds back now. So Damon, in 1 lap, has caught 1.5 seconds. Unless my timing is glitched on my end, that's a mistake from Rajayon somewhere, or an incredible lap from Damon.
Yeah, that is... He is catching quite rapidly. He was catching before his earliest spin in the race, and if he actually might have half spun once and actually fully spun once as well, and
he's still only
8.5 seconds behind. Driven a brilliant race so far.
Meanwhile, Ivor, has he made it stick around the outside of the chicane? Ivor's finally been able to make it stick. He's up into 6th place. He's passed Don, who again falls another place. And JD Nolan is catching these guys now with a queue of cars behind him. It's Kieran and Fusel in behind, both on the medium tyres. Can Kieran get the move done on Nolan for P8? He had a look at the outside, but he just doesn't have the momentum to do it. And he runs a little wide there as well into the corner, so he's not going to get the move done. He has a look down the inside, have a think about it. There's not really any room to get it done. So they stay in 8th, 9th and 10th for the time being. Further back behind them is about an 8-second gap back to Calvin in 11th.
He has a position to Fusilin.
He has, yeah. just as I went off board with him, he made a mistake on the exit of the corner, and the Ferrari man's now up into P9 on the back of these guys. He's right behind Nolan coming out of the corner. Is he close enough maybe to make a move into turn 1? He's not using his overtake, so he's going to wait until a better overtaking opportunity comes. Looking further up the field now as well. Ramv is sticking within DRS range of Damon. Damon didn't catch Rajan really on that lap at all, so it was probably a mistake from Rajan somewhere on the lap that meant that Damon caught so quickly. And Jay Luke has re-caught these guys again already. The pace he has on these medium tyres, he's re-caught Ramv almost instantly at this point, and with the fastest first sector of the race by the looks of things. Even after a half spin. Ivor's gapped Don already. Don's got a 3-car train now behind him. Don's going to end up outside the top 10. Well, not quite outside the top 10. He'll be down in 10th nearly. But it's been a shame, really, for Don to see him fall so far down the field. As here comes Nolan, actually. On the back of him, he's going to look to the inside. Don, does he leave in the space? Just about. Oh, there's a bit of wheel-to-wheel contact. And that's another gift for Fusiliim. 2 in a row. Oh, and Nolan spins on the curb. Too eager on the traction on the curb of the corner. Spins the car out and hits the wall. Keeps P10, though. There's a bit of a gap back to Calvin, so he'll keep P10. But that is a shame from Nolan, a spin after that. But again, Fusiliim, another gifted place. And as I say that, he's down the inside now of Don at the long right-hander. Does he get the move start?
Gets past as well.
Oh, yeah.
At my end. Timing glitch, I think.
Oh, down the inside. Kieran and Fusiliim down the inside. He had a look at the inside, but he isn't going to make the move stick. Just about gets away with it. Meanwhile, Jay Luke has passed Ram somewhere in the lap. We completely missed that. But Ramv has now been passed by Jay Luke, so Jay Luke back up into 3rd place and in Damon's DRS.
Looking for the fastest lap as well.
Further in behind, here comes Fusiliim now on Don. Fusiliim going for 7th place. Great stuff from this man. He obviously started on the hard tyres and had a bit of a contact early on in this race. He's down the outside. Kieran trying to go around the outside as well. 2 people overtaking you on the pit straight here for Don. He's lost 2 places in 1 corner.
Yeah, of course. I think he might be running a TT setup, I think, because his pace in the race hasn't been the same as it was in quali.
I wonder whether... we actually had a comment on the stream about 5-10 minutes ago. It's from Heated saying that Heated actually forgot to put a setup on, and that's why he spun early on in this race. So I wonder whether maybe Don's done the same thing. Meanwhile, Jay Luke back up into 2nd place. He goes past Damon. Damon, is he going to try and fight back? I don't think he has the grip or the speed to do so. He's on the overtake button, but so is Jay Luke. And Damon's immediately turned it off again. So it looks like Jay Luke back up into P2, but with only 3 laps to go. I don't want to commentate curse him at the moment because he's had a stellar race, but Rajan looks like he's going to take this one.
Yeah, he's definitely going to take this one on track, I think.
Yeah, obviously, like you said, we don't know about penalties. I would say have a look at the penalties.
Really close.
Oh, yeah. Nolan Mads. Calvin's
Let's not look at penalties because I actually want to be surprised.
Yeah, I want to be surprised as well to see what it is. Calvin, meanwhile, has made a mistake somewhere. I don't know if Calvin and Sol have come together because Mads has passed a pair of them now. So Mads is up into P12, the final points place. Kind of a case of what could have been for both Sol and Calvin. They had great pace, but...
Sol. Losing back end, and now Calvin.
Calvin loses it in sympathy. I think he lost the back end trying not to hit the back of Sol, and I don't know how he's managed to hit that Armco of all places, but Calvin again, another spin. Nolan, meanwhile, has dived into the pit lane from 10th place, so it looks like Nolan's going for a fastest lap at the end of this one. Obviously, there's no points available, but he just wants to see what pace he could have. Having a look further up the field, Jay Luke is catching Rajan a second a lap at the moment, but it's just not enough at this point in the race. Looking further behind, so Damon's currently in 3rd place. Ahead of Ramv in 4th. Good solid race from Ramv. Ahead of Adri in 5th. Good solid race from Adri as well. He's had a good one from outside the top 10. Same for Ivor, who's running in 6th, but he's now got his McLaren teammate catching him.
Yeah, and Fusiliim behind Kieran as well.
Don now in 9th, kind of running on his own. He's got an 8-second gap back to Mad, so he isn't under pressure from behind anymore. But I will say, though, just goes to show how disadvantaged people on 2-stop are. Kieran and Rajan were running side by side for the first half of this race entirely. Now look at the gap between them. Rajan is way ahead of Kieran at this point in the race.
Yeah, that is brilliant from Rajan. But
yeah.
I'm not sure if Jay Luke and Kieran actually wanted to go on medium tires. Yeah. Because there is a glitch where Jeff changed your tires without telling you. But yeah, lack of awareness maybe, I don't know. Maybe they actually wanted to go on the medium tires, we just don't know. But regardless, brilliant stuff from Rajan and brilliant stuff from Jay Luke actually. Still very close to the field.
Still very close to the back of Rajan, obviously, even despite a half spin and some sort of mistake before his second pit stop as well. Still a good Good race from Jay Luke. He's definitely been the fastest in the field today by a country mile at this point. It's been pretty dominant. He won't win the race on track by the looks of things, but even so, it's been a pretty dominant performance from Jay Luke, despite not winning the race. Anyway, looking in further behind, Kieran has worked his way past Ivor, so I think down into turn 1, both McLarens have swapped places. Kieran's passed Ivor and has already nearly broken the second gap. Ivor now under pressure from Fusilian behind. Is he going to make the move stick? Meanwhile, Sol's made his way back past Mads and up into the top 10. Having a look, is Fusilian close enough to... Kieran trying to break the DRS down the back straight to his teammate, but Ivor stays ahead of the Ferrari man for the time being. They stay 7th and 8th. Looking further up as well, Adri in P5. I think still struggling with straight line speed. He can't catch Ramp in front. He definitely looks faster in the last sector of the lap, but look at that, down the back straight, only 184 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's barely getting 8th gear, it seems like.
Yeah, so really struggling with something as Adria. Like you said, I don't know if it's set up or if it's something on his equipment maybe, but yeah, he just hasn't got any straight line speed at the moment, which is a shame. But fingers crossed, we'll have to wait and see whether that is his genuine pace or whether that's a problem for him on his end. But we're coming on to the final lap. The last half of this is absolutely flying by. We're on the final lap. Jay Luke's managed to get the gap down to 5.5 seconds. It's good pace at the moment from Jay Luke. It's just not going to work out for him in the end. Just doesn't quite have the overall pace to win this one. But still a great job from Rajan to win this one. We're obviously still waiting for penalties to come through at the end of this race. If there's any battles, it's all starting to die down at the end of the race now. I think everyone's ended up kind of in the positions that they're meant to be in. No one's really faster than anyone at the moment, apart from Fusilian. He's probably the only one that could make a move on this last lap. He's stuck behind Ivor at the moment. Mads is still behind Sol for P10. They've actually caught on very quickly on these final few laps, so I think had they not made mistakes, that both Mads and Sol probably would have been further up the field. But here we go, on board with Fusilian, then down the back straight. Is he close enough to Ivor to make a move into the chicane? He's definitely catching, but the braking zone isn't long enough for a move. He has a look down the inside, he compromises his line, makes Ivor go a little bit wide. So is he going to get the better one out of the corner? Maybe. He's on the overtake button. Calvin's been disqualified from the session, so Calvin's obviously picked up a number of penalties in this race. Meanwhile, here comes Fusilian down the inside into the final sector. He cuts over the curb ever so slightly, but Ivor can't defend it. He hasn't got any ERS to defend that, and he's managed to take P7. But Ivor trying to come all the way back around the outside, but it doesn't quite work. Meanwhile, we'll go on board with Rajan as he comes around the final corner. Great drive from him in the end. It's the one-stop strategy that prevails in the end. Rajan wins the race on track, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with penalties. Rajan crosses the line. Jay Luke's going to take second. Definitely the fastest man today. He crosses the line. And Jay Luke still wins the race despite the mistakes in that race and a two-stop. Jay Luke wins the race.
Damon having a number of penalties. Adri in P3.
Adri. Wow, great stuff from Adri. Fusilian in third place. Great stuff from Fusilian. I don't know if he picked up any penalties at all in that race, but he jumps to third ahead of Adri in fourth. 0.04 of a second separates these guys in the end. Ivor takes P5 ahead of Ramv in P6. Don takes 7th ahead of Kieran in 8th. Damon, from a third place finish on the road, falls to 9th.
He must have had
a number of penalties. Yeah, third on the road, 9th in the end after penalties. Sol keeps P10 ahead of Mads in 11th. Nolan's going to cross the line in 12th, and then we're just waiting for Dutchface at this point. I don't know where Jav's finished in this race, unfortunately. You might be able to see on your end where Jav is on the road.
He's currently P13 now.
He's P13 at the moment, so we'll wait and see when Jav crosses the line. On my end, Jav is currently P14 and 33 seconds behind Dutchface at this point. But we're waiting for Dutchface, who actually spins in the final sector of the lap, final lap. So this race couldn't have really gone much worse for Dutchface. I don't think Jav has now crossed the line on my end. He's finished the race in P13. So we're just waiting for Dutchface, who's going to completely cut the final corners to finish the race. I mean, fair enough for Dutchface. It's definitely been a difficult race for the man. Joined the lobby late, and it's just not worked out for him in the end. He's going to cross the line. The final of the finishes in P14. There we go, guys. That's the end of the race. We'll run you through the order before we finish the race. Just before we finish the stream, Dylan and I have got to get going for our lobby. Fusilian, then, it's the man who picks up the drive of the day for the most position gained, and that is fair enough from Fusilian to get third place in the end. Brilliant stuff. But we'll just run you through the final order then. As it's Jay Luke that wins. Despite all the things thrown at him in this race, Jay Luke still won this race. Brilliant stuff from him. So here we go. Here's the penalty. So it's J. Luke that won the race with only one penalty. Rajan with a 1 penalty and a speeding penalty in the pit lane in second. Fuselian with no penalties at all takes third place ahead of Adri in fourth and Ivor in fifth. Ramvin sixth with 3 penalties ahead of Don in seventh, Kieran eighth, Damon in ninth. How many penalties did Damon pick up? Let's wait and see when it pops up on our screen. 5 in the end. 5 time penalties for Damon, cost him a lot of places. 6 for Sol and Mads in 10th and 11th, ahead of JD Nolan, who picks the fastest lap of the race in 12th. Jav in 13th, and Madutcho is the last finisher in 14th. Robertson, Heated, and Calvin all did not finish the race.
Yeah, that was a brilliant race. A lot of side-by-side action, and J-Luke winning the race. Brilliant job.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Just before we go, who are you going to give driver of the day to, do you think?
I'm going to give it to Fuselian. Getting no penalties around this track is insanely difficult, especially with the new corner cutting regulations that co-masters have included into this game, and not getting a single pen and finishing on the podium from P12. That's a brilliant job.
Yeah, brilliant job from Fuselian. I'm still going to give it to J. Luke, honestly. Had a 2-stop and a half spin and another spin at some point that we didn't see, and he still won the race. So fair enough from J. Luke. I'm going to give him driver of the day as well. But shout out to Fuselian for getting no penalties and third on the grid. Third on the podium in the end. But that is where we're going to finish off today, guys. Tune in for our lobby. We're going in a few minutes' time. We've just got to join the lobby now. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you for commentating. Thank you for sticking with us after the lobby glitch as well. Thank you, everyone that's retuned back in. From Dylan and myself, goodbye. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.